In the book of John, chapter 15, verse 13 through 14, Jesus says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you." Here, Jesus is speaking to Israel under the kingdom program. His death was for his friends, those in Israel who obeyed him. Under the law, non-Israelites had to come through Israel to approach God to be a part of their covenant. But then Paul in Romans chapter 5, verse 6 says, "For when we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly, those not keeping his commandments." And in verse 10, he adds, "For if, when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son." We were enemies and not friends. This is a major dispensational shift. Under Israel's program, Christ's death was for those who obeyed and kept his commandments. But in the dispensation of the grace of God, Christ died for the ungodly, for God's enemies, with no works required, just faith in Christ's finished work alone on Calvary's cross. In due time in Romans chapter 5 doesn't mean that God did something at the right moment. It marks the revelation of the mystery given to the Apostle Paul. Salvation is no longer through Israel or covenants, but freely available to all by grace through faith alone in Christ's death for sins, his burial, and his resurrection. Rightly dividing the word clears up these contradictions. Prophecy was for Israel, but today, under the dispensation of the grace of God, salvation is for all who trust Christ died for their sins and was raised again for their justification.